Technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate, a new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors.
$500 billion. That's not a typo. That's the size of the Stargate project, potentially the largest infrastructure investment in American history. And right now, OpenAI and SoftBank just dropped another $1 billion into a company most people have never heard of. Why? Because whoever controls the data centers controls the future of AI. And if you're not paying attention to what's happening in places like Masayoshi County, Texas right now, you're missing the biggest infrastructure play of the decade. Let me explain. Welcome back to Asset Archive. I'm David, and if you're new here, we break down the biggest financial moves shaping our future. In plain English, no fluff. Today, we're diving into something massive, the AI data center arms race. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you 3 things. First, why OpenAI and SoftBank just invested $1 billion into SB Energy, a company you've probably never heard of. Second, the real reason tech giants are now building their own power plants. Yes, you heard that right. And third, what this means for the future of AI, American infrastructure, and potentially your portfolio. This isn't just about tech. This is about energy, geopolitics, and a fundamental shift in how our economy operates. Let's break it down. So, what exactly just happened? On January 9th, 2026, OpenAI and SoftBank each committed $500 million, totaling $1 billion, into a company called SB Energy. Now, SB Energy isn't some hot new AI startup. It's a SoftBank-owned infrastructure company founded in 2019, and until recently, most people had never heard of it. But here's the thing. SB Energy is now positioned as the backbone of the Stargate project, that $500 billion initiative unveiled at the White House with President Trump, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman standing side by side. Let me put this in perspective. $500 billion is larger than the GDP of countries like Poland or Sweden. This isn't just big, it's nation-building big. And this latest billion-dollar investment? It's specifically earmarked for building and operating next-generation AI data centers. The first major project? A 1.2 gigawatt data center in Masayoshi County, Texas. Now, 1.2 gigawatts might not mean much to you, but for context, that's enough power to run about 850,000 homes. Except, it's not powering homes. It's powering AI training and inference. We're talking about the compute infrastructure that will train the next generation of ChatGPT and whatever comes after it. SB Energy is also developing several other multi-gigawatt campuses across the US, with the first facilities expected to come online later this year in 2026. This is happening fast, and there's a reason for that urgency. Here's what most people miss. AI isn't just a software problem anymore, it's an energy problem. Training large language models like GPT-4 or GPT-5 requires enormous amounts of electricity. We're talking thousands of high-performance GPUs running 24/7, consuming megawatts of power continuously. And as AI models get bigger and more capable, the energy demands skyrocket. Right now, the biggest constraint on AI development isn't talent or algorithms, it's power. You can have all the chips in the world, but if you don't have the gigawatts to run them, they're useless. That's why tech companies are doing something unprecedented. They're investing directly in power infrastructure. Not just leasing space in existing data centers, actually building their own power generation. SB Energy isn't just constructing buildings. They're planning to develop new generation capacity specifically to support these data centers. In the case of the Milam County facility, they've stated they want to protect Texas ratepayers while meeting massive power demands. Translation: they're likely building their own power plants. This is a fundamental shift. Imagine if Amazon in the 1990s had to build their own electrical grid to sell books online. That's essentially what's happening here, but for AI. And it makes perfect sense when you realize what's at stake. According to the documents, OpenAI entered Code Red mode late last year, focused on enhancing ChatGPT while delaying other product launches. Why? Because Google's Gemini is gaining traction. The AI race is intensifying, and compute capacity is the weapon. This is also why Meta is allocating unprecedented sums to infrastructure. Everyone sees the same bottleneck, and everyone's scrambling to solve it first. So, what makes SB Energy special? Why did OpenAI choose them as their partner? 3 things: speed, integration, and proven execution. SB Energy has a reputation for fast delivery. In AI, being 6 months late means you're obsolete. The partnership documents emphasize their speed of delivery multiple times. Time is literally money in this race. Integration: this is the genius part. SB Energy isn't just building data centers, they're integrating the entire stack: campus development, power generation, grid infrastructure, and operations. It's a one-stop shop. OpenAI doesn't have to coordinate with a dozen different contractors. They get turnkey infrastructure designed specifically for AI workloads. Proven execution. To strengthen their capabilities, SB Energy recently acquired Studio 151, a specialist firm with experience across more than 20 data center campuses. The co-CEOs specifically mentioned they've been working with Studio 151 for 18 months across multiple projects. This acquisition brings that expertise in-house, allowing them to standardize and replicate campus designs at scale. The partnership creates what they're calling a non-exclusive preferred model, essentially combining OpenAI's first-party data center design expertise with SB Energy's infrastructure delivery capabilities. And here's an interesting detail. SB Energy will also become a major customer of OpenAI, using their APIs and deploying ChatGPT across their workforce. This is vertical integration at its finest. The infrastructure provider uses the AI they're helping to build. Feedback loops like this accelerate innovation dramatically. Now, let's talk about what could go wrong, because nothing this big is risk-free. First, execution risk. Building multi-gigawatt data centers on aggressive timelines is extraordinarily complex. Delays are common in large infrastructure projects. If SB Energy misses deadlines, while competitors like Microsoft or Google hit theirs, OpenAI falls behind. Second, regulatory and community pushback. A 1.2 gigawatt facility in Milam County will have massive local impact. The documents mention creating thousands of construction jobs and minimizing water usage. But data centers are controversial. They consume enormous resources, and not every community welcomes them. Any regulatory delays could derail timelines. Third, the energy infrastructure itself. Building new power generation is non-trivial. Depending on the energy source, whether it's natural gas, solar, nuclear, or something else, you're looking at multi-year development cycles and significant capital risk. Fourth, competitive dynamics. The documents mention this is a non-exclusive partnership. That means SB Energy can work with OpenAI's competitors. If they're building data centers for Google or Anthropic simultaneously, does OpenAI truly have an advantage? And finally, the AI market itself. What if the AI boom slows? What if new models become more efficient and require less compute? Then you've built billions of dollars of infrastructure for demand that never materializes. These are real risks. But here's the counterpoint. Every major tech company is making the same bet. This isn't one company going rogue. It's an industry-wide consensus that AI compute is the choke point, and whoever solves it wins. So, what does this mean for everyday people and investors? For the economy, this represents a massive build-out of American infrastructure, thousands of construction jobs, billions in capital investment, grid modernization. This is tangible economic activity in communities that will host these facilities. For energy markets, watch Texas and other states with favorable energy policies. The demand for electricity is about to surge. This could mean opportunities in utilities, power generation, and grid infrastructure companies. It could also mean higher electricity costs for consumers if supply doesn't keep pace. For the AI race, this signals that the competition is far from over. OpenAI might be the leader today, but they're clearly worried about Google, Anthropic, and others. The company entering code red mode tells you everything. They see threats on the horizon. For investors, infrastructure plays around AI are getting serious. This isn't speculative anymore. Companies like SB Energy just raised $800 million from Ares Infrastructure Opportunities in 2025, plus this new billion from OpenAI and SoftBank. Smart money is betting that whoever controls the infrastructure layer captures enormous value. But remember, investing in infrastructure is different from investing in software. These are capital-intensive, long-cycle businesses. The returns are slower, but potentially more stable than betting on the next hot AI startup. Here's my question for you. Do you think the $500 billion Stargate commitment is realistic? Or is this just hype? And more importantly, where do you see the bottlenecks? Is it energy, talent, regulation, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you found this breakdown valuable, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Here at Asset Archive, we're tracking the biggest financial moves shaping our future, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. I've also put together a free resource document with links to all the sources I used for this video, plus some additional analysis on AI infrastructure investments. Check the description below. Here's my final take. What we're witnessing isn't just a tech trend. It's a fundamental reshaping of infrastructure economics. For decades, data centers were boring utilities. Now they're strategic assets worth billions, with tech CEOs standing alongside presidents to announce them. The race for AI dominance will be won by whoever solves the infrastructure equation first. And right now, OpenAI and SoftBank are betting that SB Energy is their answer. Whether that billion-dollar bet pays off? We'll know soon enough. The first facilities come online this year. One thing's certain, the AI revolution isn't happening in the cloud. It's happening in places like Milam County, Texas, in massive buildings consuming gigawatts of power, built at breakneck speed by companies most of us have never heard of. Until they become the most important companies in the world. This is David from Asset Archive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.